So, good afternoon and welcome to you all. I think Sales ji is ready. I will transfer the host to him and then he will take it further for third class. So, I'm transferring the host to Sales Gupta and then he will take the class further. Okay, now transfer the host to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. If you want, I can make you the co-host.
Not required. You can go ahead.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Gupta ji, you can start communicating. I think Jitender is there from Lucknow and Sudhir Jaiswal is from Noida only. So,
Wonderful. Wonderful. So I'm just going to start it. I was just making sure that I believe all my audio, video, every connection is fine. So I'm going to do that. So no, not a problem.
so you can start with the sharing of your PPT or whatever.
So how many students were there in the morning session, sir? If early, I may know.
There were around 20 people. Hopefully, they will come back shortly.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Right?
That's fine, sir. That's perfectly fine, sir. So, how's Jiten? How's Lucknow? I believe these days Lucknow is in a lot of news. See,
Yes, sir. It is a very hot center.
lots of hot center in India. I'm saying not only in UP, it's in India.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very much. Very much. Even cold is very much is there.
I know where the weather is. Not only the weather is heating up. I believe the
Political party is heating up.
Political arbitrage, I believe, is heating up. Yogi ji is there in Bihar. I could see he doing election campaigning.
Yes, yes. Very much, sir.
So I could see that also. That's very good. So I believe which industry are you coming in, Jiten, from, or where are you working, in fact, or what?
So I'm working with the Himalaya Drug Company, handling the baby care division with pharma, GT, wholesale, modern trade, and different verticals.
Okay.
So handling entire UP and Uttarakhand zone, an additional part of Bihar and Jharkhand also. So India's two hottest position I'm just taking off.
Wow. So Jharkhand, I believe, and you said UP also.
UP, Uttarakhand, Bihar, Jharkhand, 4 states.
Oh, UP, Uttarakhand, Bihar, oh, okay. So, wow, wonderful. Wonderful. And what baby products you said?
Yeah, baby care division, OTC VD.
Okay, and how does this training thing is very relevant for you in growing your career, and how do you see that?
See, in the normal language, in the single one language, I can say I have started my career as a trainer. The first job was my reason is sales associate, marketing and development. So I started like as an Coca-Cola marketing development. So how to positioning a brand and how to merchandising a brand, and slightly shifted to zonal manager training. So these
Oh,
all
okay.
career with Lever, PNG, Coke, Pepsi, different rival companies. So I did it. Now I reached Himalaya.
Wow.
So that's around 15 years of experience in sales, training, and marketing.
Sales training and marketing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. And how many people have you been by now? You may have clocked for training hours or number of people or something like that.
Around if I look about the team handling the number of people around more than 575 people. 575.
Wonderful. Good. I believe so. This session is, I believe this ISTD program is going to be very, very relevant for you.
So that's why I am here with my 7 colleagues also.
Oh, okay. That's really good. That's really interesting. So they are all from Lucknow or part of different parts of
No,
India?
it's a different part of the India.
Oh, very good. That's a good news, I believe. So Himalaya, people from Himalaya are actually so much inclined towards, oriented towards learning. That's a good news.
No, it's not about the company. It's about the individual growth. We have to be just extend our caliber and extend our learning experience as with the trainer.
Correct.
So it doesn't what we have dreamed about to just face out the 4,000 people as a motivational and something else. It's a future program.
Very true. So let me just thanks a lot, Jiten, I believe, for this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so
connecting
much.
on this. I believe that's a very interesting thread, and I'm quite sure we'll be able to share some of the more exchanges as we go along in this journey.
Definitely, sir. 1000% sure.
Okay, Sudeep ji, I believe I understand you are from NCR, if I'm not wrong, Sudeep ji.
Yes, sir. I'm from Noida chapter.
Oh, wonderful. So,
but I've been transferred, so maybe next session I'll be moving out to a place close to Hyderabad.
Okay, and is it Gachibowli or something like that, Whitefield or something?
No, not that, sir. It's about 250 kilometers from Hyderabad. It's a place called Ramagundam.
I've heard that because I was there in Hyderabad for 2 years.
Okay.
So I can visualize that what you're saying, because there is a Balaji temple out there. It's probably 60 kilometers from Hyderabad. So I'm not sure whether it's in the way towards Ramagundam or.
I also have no idea, sir, but there's an NTPC plant located there.
Which plant you said?
NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation.
Oh, okay. And how's training and ISTD relevant to you, Sujit?
Sir, I am a freelance HR professional.
Okay.
Actually, incidentally, my line of business is on similar kind of area. So I provide consultancy as well as training and development programs.
And for that you're moving to Hyderabad?
Not for that, sir. Actually, my wife, she is also an HR professional, and she is working in NTPC.
Okay.
She has been transferred, but since I am freelancing, I'll move along with her. That's
Which is a good news. Which is a good news.
So I'll be charting a new territory. I've never worked in southern part of India, so hopefully my business will grow.
Yeah, I believe it's a very hot area, I believe, from a territory perspective, because I was there for 2 years in the same area and same industry. But I was there, my role was different because I was a business head there. Okay. And this was actually in Whitefield, Gachibowli, or the Silicon Valley of Andhra Pradesh. Okay. So I was heading a business which was large, spread across 9 countries, 14 nationalities, 1,000 people strong.
Okay.
So my role was very different. While training and development was one of my passion, I believe, and I got into this profession since last 12 years. Okay. So it started from somewhere in Hyderabad also. So I wish you all the best, Sudeep, for that.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Okay, I see Anupma ji. I believe Anupma ji, you are also there. So I believe, which part of India are you joining in from? Okay, I probably still absolutely good to see. I believe so. If anybody wants to switch on their camera, it's your choice. I'm not going to force you, because my camera is going to be on. That makes the connection, communication more effective. as trainer. So I leave it to you if you want to switch on your cameras. I believe it will make it more and more meaningful for both of us, not only for you, it will make it meaningful for me also, because otherwise these virtual ways of doing working is going to be the ways of working. And so that's the way we have to get used to it and become very comfortable to that. And interestingly, I've been doing it since last 22nd of March, since this lockdown went on. So I am so used to it. And not only now, I believe not only in the 8 months, as an industry, I've been doing it from last 10 to 12 years, because this is how the corporate industry used to work. It's only the world has started adopting it now. So I believe I'm used to that. Okay, so I see a lot of people joining in now. So 5 minutes inside the session, I believe time for me to start off. So I believe just to ring the bell, I believe a lot of people were there 4th of October, because the first session which we launched from this chapter all around India, there are probably, what I understand is, my statistic may be wrong there are 7 chapters in India. Somebody has to mute yourself, and if at all, probably you have to speak to me or talk to share some views, ask questions. Feel free to do that by unmuting yourself. You can keep your video on. You can keep writing on the chat box, because I keep checking the chat box very frequently. So if you want to share something in the chat box, even I may ask you questions, so you can write it inside the chat box. So just to let me know, I believe the first session which we launched was 4th of October. Today is 1st of November probably, and now there was a 1 month gap. So that was a kind of the kickstart, and I believe now the way it has been structured is it's going to be very, very fast moving, because every Sunday in November we are going to be meeting. So there are 4 Sundays for sure. We'll be meeting on all these 4 papers which is there for this semester. And I believe 2 of them already you have covered today morning, and the third paper and the 4th paper is third paper I'm going to cover. And my name is Shailesh, as you can see from that participant window. So just wanted to check, I believe whoever is here, if you have just mention if you have attended the 4th October session of mine. I believe that will give me. So you say yes and no in the chat box. If you have attended, say yes. And if you have not attended, say no. So at least I'll know that if you have attended the 4th October session of mine. So at least I'll know to basically see if you have not attended, then I'll be a little better off from contextualizing the whole thing for you. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So I see a lot of you.
Good afternoon, sir. It's Anupama.
Good afternoon, Anupama. Very good afternoon. So I believe I'm just checking. Most of you have attended. Just mention that in the chat box if you attend. So most of you have attended it. So Meena ji is not attended. So Meena ji, can I request Meena ji to unmute yourself? Where is Meena ji? I believe. So if you can unmute yourself, Meena ji, I believe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I have not attended last session.
Wonderful. Not a problem, madam. I'll just so give a probably Meena ji, you have to probably what you do is give an adjective to yourself by the first letter of your name, which is M. And for example, I've been calling myself as Smart Shailesh because my name starts with S. So think about it and coin a name, an adjective describing you, Meena ji, because all of people who have attended that, they've already done that. Just to give you a little bit of an insight, what different people have shared last time. This is what exactly other people who have shared last time. So in my session last 1 month back, I had 3 passionate people, Prateek, Piyush, and Priyanka. And then we had so many other qualities of people. There were 2 powerful people, Pradeep and Prerna. And I see Anupma. Anupma is adaptable. That's what I see here. And she has been adaptable, and she's right there adaptably in today's session also. And I see,
yes, sir.
I see Jitendra ji. Where is Jitendra ji? Jitendra ji, if you have not given yourself a name, you can also do that, Jitendra ji. You can give an adjective to your last time. Write it in the chat
Last time
box.
I did it. Now I have done it.
But Jitendra ji, that's what last time also. What you have to do is you have to write it with the first letter of your name, which is J. So you have to give an adjective with a J. It cannot be winner because your name starts with J. So you have to coin an adjective with your first letter of your name. So think about it and do that. In the meantime, whoever has not done it, do it. So we have
Sir,
Anupma.
I'm just interrupting. Sir, write down the chat box or need to tell here right now?
Put it in the chat box. I'll
Okay,
just
done.
pick it up from the chat box. You can
Okay,
put it.
okay.
So the idea is the flow will continue, and I believe while you can keep writing it, and I'll capture it probably for the next session when we meet after 1 week. So let me see who else is right here. So we have Anupma is here. Praticha, okay. Praticha is here. Let me see what is Praticha coining herself there. Okay, Piyush, no, I didn't see. Praticha, you did not do that. So probably you can do that again. So Meena is a motivator, wonderful, because that's a quality which trainers should have. Jolly Jitendra, like that. Now it's perfectly fine, Jitenji. Traditional thing, because how smiles we can bring in an energy, smiles to people as a trainer, and I believe because you are in sales and marketing, I believe that would really make a difference, because only 2% people are in sales. And I believe the rest of the people, I believe, are 98% people could be doing some other role or some other job. So that's a very, very important quality to have as a trainer. Motivation is very, very important, Meenaji. Very good. So whoever has not done that, I'm just checking that. You can write it in the chat box. So Prerna, I've already seen she is there, and I saw that Prerna is powerful. Okay, very good. Pratiksha is, I don't see that. Pratiksha, you have to give an adjective to yourself, because I don't see that anywhere for you. So you can give an adjective to yourself. If you want to use somebody else, it's your choice. Perfectly fine. But I believe something you have to give it to it. So real Rupesh Rai, okay. That's fine. I believe you can still do that in the chat box if you have not done that. So give an adjective to yourself if you have not done that on the 4th of October. And people who have done that, I believe you can see that again for anybody who has already been there. Why is it so important? I believe many times कहते हैं ना, या तो नाम में बहुत कुछ रखा है और otherwise नाम में क्या रखा है. I believe both the perspectives are there. In fact, I believe so. They have the different points of views. Yes, people love their name. I believe so. If you call them by their name, they like it and love it. But what, as trainers, we need to appreciate when you are going into a session, the methodology, which it really helps, because this is talking about cognitive way of thinking and methodology. You need to connect with the people as a trainer, and I believe the people who are there sitting as an audience, you need to connect, and the connect can be done in so many ways. And I believe, I'm quite sure many of you know the concept of icebreakers. An icebreaker, I believe, could be in so many different ways. And this is also a very good icebreaker, which you can use it. And I've seen it is very effective in any kind of a forum or any kind of a gathering or a group, wherever you are intervening, in fact, depending upon the size. But you have to keep that in mind. How do you do it, conduct it? Because the conduction may, for example, if you're doing it for 200 people, you can't be very interactive. You have to use some offline method. So I have done the same exercise with 10 people, or I've done the same exercise with 300 people. So the activity could be same from a methodology perspective as an icebreaker, but how do you conduct that and how do you execute it as a trainer is something you need to plan it out, and you need to plan it out depending upon the size, the nature of the audience, etc., etc. So that's what I mean, just to set the context from a training cognitive methodology perspective. It is very, very important as an activity. So I'm just making sure whoever has not done it, please do that. Sonakshi, I see Sonakshi here. Sonakshi, I don't see. Sonakshi is there. Sevi Sonakshi, yes. Absolutely right. Good. Sudeep ji is here. Let me see Sudeep ji. Okay, where is Sudeep ji? Sudeep ji, sharp.
Number 14.
Sharp, Sudeep ji. Absolutely right. Good, very good. So I can see people who have not done it, please do that. Okay, wonderful. I believe Anand ji is here. Anand ji, okay, let me see if Anand ji has already done that. Anand ji, probably I don't see your name somehow. So Anand ji, you have to just
yes, I've done that, sir.
Okay, now you have done it. Ardent, oh Anand, wonderful, wonderful. So please keep doing it if you have not done that. I believe it is easy for us to connect because you will find different people all around getting together. The second thing I believe which we did last time, just to give, I did a quick poll of the likes of people, what you want this paper or this session to be. And this is what you exactly voted. I believe people voted for that. And I got a mix of votes for 70-30, 60-40. And what is 70-30, 60-40? It is practical versus theory. Practical versus theory. So the first number talks about the practical and the second number talks about the theory. So yes, you will have an exam, you will have activities, you will have assignments, you will have submissions, and which ISTD. So that's why it's a 1.5 year program, is very, very intensive because you are going back to the good old days of college where you have to study and then give exams, which is always a lovable time. And I believe at any age, I believe the amazing thing which happened from a training and education perspective is one of the ladies from India, she was given her 10th certificate from President of India, Mr. Kovinji, in fact. So she just cleared her exam and her age was 100 years. So at 100 years, she cleared her 10th exam and she was awarded that certificate from the President of India. कहते हैं ना, कभी education कभी नहीं रुकती, learning कभी नहीं रुकती. So we have to be very, very specific to doing that. Okay, I know, Pratiksha, with your passion, I believe the network error will go off. If you want, you can connect with a mobile or a laptop or any other device, tablet is fine. And if probably there's too much of a network issue, you can switch off your video and just connect with a visual video, the PPT or the audio itself. So just try to do that, Pratiksha. I believe the network error is there. Okay, so moving on, I believe so. I'll keep it more practical, and that's what, while I'll definitely keep mixing the theory part of it in the same ratio which you're expecting in these sessions of paper 3, which we are conducting. And obviously, practical is important for all of us because in some shape and size, all of us professionals, and we are experienced people. So that's what it is all about, experiential learning. So we'll continue that journey. So this is from the last session, and I just wanted you to understand and know that since last 12 to 13 years, since I have been in the training and fraternity industry, while I have spent more than 30 years, 3 decades in the corporate industry as a business leader, but since last 12 to 13 years, I have been in the training and development profession for corporate, MSMEs, and different colleges and institutes, in fact, for that matter. So these are the 3 focus areas where I have been trying to do, and in ISTD, I've been trying to be there from last more than 6 years. So I have met so many different people, so many versatile, visionary, awesome, I believe very different kind of quality of people I have met. And through this session, this is just a sample, and I'm quite sure you will actually be doing that. So my point is, I believe when you do that, as a trainer, you have to get used to basically connect with different qualities of people. And that's something very, very important. And the methods of training have been derived around these things. I'm quite sure many of you may have heard about a word called competency. In the fraternity of training, which we use is very, very commonly used, is competency. So competency or the quality of the person is actually basically helps you to connect with that. And there are so many methodologies around that in training, and that's what we'll talk more and more about. So these are the different kinds of people of whom I met in many different sessions, and I believe you saw the sample right here last time till now. I believe there are different people from different qualities which we have connected. And definitely when you talk about it, you can also elaborate that. Giving you another perspective of how different people have been seeing me. I believe I have met them, but how they have been seeing me. While I may call it silent shallade, I may call my smart shallade, but the people saw me differently. Some of them say supercharged. Some of them say smiling. Some of them say satisfied, contented, sparkling. I believe synergistic. I believe they could see some synergy with me. Successful, I believe, because whatever I may have done for there to make them successful, they saw that I am also successful. Because people look at some of their perspective. So different people were looking to me, the same person with the same qualities differently. And that's another way of looking at as a trainer, I believe, which we should do that. So, and I believe in this journey, somewhere in this journey, probably you can really have an evaluation of me, that how do you look at me based upon our interaction of the last session, this session, and some of the session which will be there. So that's something very, very important, because earlier we used to have these kind of engagements practically, physically, face-to-face. Now we are having virtually. So let's keep doing that, and probably somewhere, in fact, we'll come back to this. How do you see me, in fact, and we'll do that. For the people who did not participate in the last month, this is something which everybody who participated saw that, and I promised everybody, and that's what I'm just trying to refresh whatever we have done last time. So anybody who attended last time, probably, do you want to basically share, just to refresh the people who did not attend last month, what did we discuss on this photograph? If anybody wants to unmute yourself and share what did we do last time. So anybody would like to unmute, or probably raise your hand in the participant box, and I can request you to unmute yourself. What did we do, in fact, from this photograph? What do you see in this photograph was the question which I asked you. Kya dikh raha hai aapko is photograph mein? So if you can recollect, what was that which we did discuss that. So if anybody wants to share that, I'll be very happy to hear that.
Sir, 2-3% answered this question. Some said that the deer is facing problem in his leg and walking in the road. I said that we are intervening in their environment through this road. Basically, it's their environment, and this road is inside getting into their world.
Wonderful. Thanks a lot, Prerna, I believe, for remembering that, and I really love what the way you had answered it, because कभी कभी वो perspective जो किसी का देखने का होता है, हर का नहीं होता है, and same image different people look at differently. So जब मैं as a trainer we are trying to give it, different people are looking at differently, and Prerna beautifully said that लोगों ने अलग-अलग आंसर दिया था, but one of the core answers which I wanted this to come out came out was कि हम इन जानवरों के जंगल, उनका जो घर है, उसमें इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं by through making construction, making through road, which very few people are able to see that if you have that emotional connect. And I'm just emphasizing that emotional connect with the portraits. कहते हैं अपनी दिल की आंखों से देखिए, ना कि अपनी फिजिकल आंखों से, अपने मन की आंखों से देखिए, तब आप वो चीज देख पाएंगे कि हम कैसे उनके घरों में, हमारा घर है और हमारे घर के बीच में से कोई सड़क निकाल दे या पगडंडी निकाल दे तो हमको कैसा लगेगा. And that's exactly natural lovers. This is what exactly people are trying to make that. And so many biggest revolutions right now going, भले वो प्लास्टिक का हो जो कि समुद्र में फेंका जा रहा है, भले हमारी जो हम नेचुरल रिसोर्सों को कंज्यूम कर रहे हैं, पेड़ काट रहे हैं, उसके ऊपर, all these missions are actually driven through that mindset and through that perspective. So as trainers, I believe we can really try to highlight and bring those perspectives also, and making sure that people appreciate that. So thanks for sharing that. Now let me ask people right here, how many parts of brain do we have? Just mention that, in fact, or probably you can unmute yourself and share how many parts of brain do we have to basically analyze that. So if anybody wants to share, you can put it in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and share. How many different parts of brain do we have? Because it's all about cognitive, and I believe we are talking about mindset, because we have three things which I talked about last time: mindset, skill set, and tool set. Mindset, skill set, and tool set. So all the three are important as a training fraternity. But I believe today in this paper, we are talking more on the mindset as a cognitive way. So let's understand the brain part of it. So how many parts of brain do we have? Who would like to take a plunge? I believe, again, there's nothing right and wrong in this. So I believe, so not to worry about that. So, and we don't have to be doctors for that, because even I'm not a doctor, physical doctor for that matter. So how many parts of brain do we have? Okay, let me give you a hint. There are two parts of brain. To give that hint, there are two parts of brain.
So, according to my knowledge, I believe there are two parts. One is calculative, and second one is basically language.
Okay, so you are very close to that. You talked about calculative and the second
language,
one is language. Okay. So I'll come to that. And I'm going to explain it to you anyway. So anybody else wants to take a plunge? कोई और plunge करना चाहेगा इसमें कि अपना view, and I believe what are the two parts? So one is calculative. If you want to coin that, it's probably
so maybe just to add, like Prerna shared, that one is logical and the other is emotional. That at one section we are talking more about our intelligence and all the logical reasoning, and the other we see things like you said from the heart, more emotional perspective.
Wonderful, Sonakshi. So I believe that's exactly what you very well said, that we have, one is basically more logical, which is the left part of the brain. And you see some of the qualities which is right there: analytical, logical, rational. These are all the behaviors of the left part of the brain. And on the right part of the brain is more intuitive, emotional, creative, feeling, sensing kind of a brain. And that's how we are designed physically, you can say. So I believe for that matter, there's a left brain and there's a right brain. So and these qualities are very well known. So how many of you, I believe the concept, if you see on the top, is called mirror your brain for design thinking. Mirror your brain for design thinking. So to do the design thinking and to be whatever we are trying to do, what do you think, which part of the brain we'll be using? Just, I would like everybody to write it in the chat box. Which part of the brain will you be using, left or right? I want everybody to respond to this question. To be doing design thinking and to be doing whatever, mirror your brain, which part of the brain will you be using, left or right? Just write in the chat box. Okay, I see some responses already started flowing. Okay. Okay, keep going, keep going, keep going. I see Sonakshi responding, Rupeji responding, Meenaji responding, Jolly, Jitendra is also responded. I want everybody to participate, because otherwise, what's the fun of basically being connected over this virtual platform? So make the best use of your time, and you have invested your time. So make the best use of your time. And I will request everybody to give their opinion or votes. So Divya ji, Anant, I see Anupma ji is also not mentioned it. So Patil ji, I want everybody to respond back. Shalu ji, okay. So let everybody respond back. Okay. Again, there's hardly anything wrong, right and wrong in this. Okay. Okay, I've got some. Okay, so that's what it says, that right side is support, right side support with logic. Okay, absolutely. That's so somehow I am seeing there's a mix of responses. And my dear friend, the question is actually a googly question. So somebody actually responded it very well. And so both the parts of the brain is required. Both the parts of the brain is required to do design thinking, not one part of the brain. But friends, what has happened over a period of time, the education system and the methodology of training, or whatever has been done right from our childhood, हमारा ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा left brain का focus रखा गया. जितनी भी चीज exam का रखा गया, you have to remember that, cram it, everything. It was all focused towards the left brain. Somehow the creative elements, which is the artistic or the musical or the feeling and sensing part of it, got undermined in our education system or the curriculum, the way it was designed. And that is what started creating problems. And if you see today, the entrepreneurs or the leaders who are required to run the organization, to start a business, I believe, I would request, if you're not speaking, probably to all of us, probably keep yourself muted. Okay. So I believe the overall the way industry, entrepreneurs and leaders were supposed to be made, they have to use both the part of the brain, which is the left brain and the right brain, and using the concept of design thinking. So the businesses, corporates, and any of these successful, whether MSME or corporate, needs this, both the qualities of the brain. And that's what exactly was getting mixed. So that's why the cognitive way of doing things requires design thinking concepts, which have to be applied to both the parts of the brain. And for that, I believe with that photograph, I have made a framework. And if you connect with me on the LinkedIn, this is the details are there, and the framework. So how many of you are interested in knowing the framework, which I believe will give you a complete exposure? So if it is yes, just type yes. If you are really curious to know, if you are really interested to see the framework, just say yes in the chat box. So at least I know that you are there and you are listening to me. I believe you are there and you are listening to me, because I believe I should not be talking to myself. I believe I'm there for you. So I believe just to make sure that you are interested. So a lot of you are interested in that. So let me share that framework, friends. And friends, this is a framework which I've created with my overall experience into this industry of training, fraternity, and the corporate jagat, in fact, as you call it, or the business jagat, entrepreneurs, in fact. So BRAIN is what I have created a framework. And the first is be curious. Who is most curious? Who is most curious in this world? If you really observe, the child is most curious. जो बच्चा है वो बहुत क्यूरियस होता है और हर चीज के लिए वो कुछ ना कुछ प्रश्न पूछता है कि ये कैसा है, what is this, how is this, can we do this way, why is this you are doing this way. So I believe it is very important that somewhere down the line when we are in our profession, we start trying to forget the curiosity of a child in us. As we keep growing, we tend to forget that we also have a heart of a child. So my dear friend, that's why it's important that we nurture our curiosity. We keep generating our observations from whatever we are observing around the world. And today's VUCA world, as I was talking last time, needs this feature quality more and more right now. So being curious is something very, very important. And it's not only for us as trainers, for our participants also, this is going to be very, very important. So you have to make sure that they are observing and being curious as a cognitive mind is something very, very important. The second thing which I wanted to give you as part of this framework is innovation and design thinking and being creative is for everyone. There's a myth which is there that there are only 5 to 10% people who are studying in some of the premium colleges who have got into those colleges, and they are the top-notch colleges, in fact, of India or the world. And they are either working in research and development team, R&D, which is, or they are launching the satellites, in fact, in the sky. And if somebody is launching the satellite, there will be thousands of employees, only 10% people will be innovating or doing a research or something like that. My dear friends, innovation is for everyone. Anybody and everybody can innovate. And that is something with the myth which we have to overcome that. So many times people in our participant ask us, I believe, I have a different role. I am only into a production role, I'm in a manufacturing role, I'm in a testing role, and I am this role, or I'm into this industry. My industry does not require, it's completely a process industry. So why do I need to innovate? Why do I need to be creative about? So that's the myth which we have to try to break that myth, and then try to basically come out with that innovation is for everyone. Yes, Rupesh, absolutely. That's what exactly I'm trying to talk about it, because many times, depending upon your industry, you may be coming from different industries, connecting with different roles. But I believe this is what you have to break that as a trainer, to bring that mindset approach of using some of these things of a framework which I'm giving to you as a gift to you. This is a very, very powerful framework, my dear friend. If you go to any of the top-notch authors of the world, whether from any of the top-notch global authors, I believe you will find it out somewhere. The roots of that will be actually this framework. I'm not giving you something of the leaves or the stems or the branches. I'm giving you something as a root, which is the jal. So jal ke liye I'm trying to give you this framework. Moving on to the next element of this framework is being proactive. Many times, people whom we are giving it, or people who as trainers, we need to be proactive rather than being reactive. What does this mean? I believe just to from a methodology perspective, I believe, just let me give you an example of as a trainer. So for example, we go to a session and probably we go to a meeting. So you are going into a session or a meeting. Are you not preparing yourself prior to that? Because your meeting could be just for 1 hour. But generally, the preparation for that meeting or a session of 1 hour, you may have to spend a day or probably more than that many times. So the preparation or the planning for an event which you are doing, you need to be proactive rather than reactive. No, my dear friend. So as trainers also, you have to be practicing it, and your participants, you have to make sure that they are proactive when they are coming inside the session, they have gone through it. And that's why there's an academy with ISTD is also giving it to you, the assignments. So you go through the material and everything is available to you. And you can really approach to us, or in the specifically Noida chapter can approach to us, because I know. But while We are from Noida chapter, but I believe today the virtual world has really created an opportunity for connecting everybody. So anybody can reach out to us. So being proactive is very, very important as trainers and for our participants also to make them prepared. And training methodology actually gives you to do that proactiveness also. The fourth element of this framework, and I believe by now, I believe you would have understood it. How do you really do that? Is I is for empathize. And empathize means many of you actually will agree to that. That is putting yourself in the shoes, which you all understand. And that's what we try to do that. So anybody would like to give an example or a definition of, because this is a very common element of empathy. So if anybody would like to raise your hand, you can unmute yourself and give a definition of empathy. Before let me probably finish off the last question while you can think about the definition or an example of empathy. Asking question is again a very, very powerful thing. Many times we have a big, you can say a PPT or something ready with us. Salespeople have a big product pitch which is ready with them. And the moment they see the customer, I believe they are ready with their pitch, in fact, and this is what exactly the product, this is how the company looks like. So I believe, is that the right approach? Many times, or 99% of the time, that's not the right approach. The right approach is to understand what he or she requires as a product. Instead of just putting the product of us, how do you convert that into a solution? Or probably an approach which he's looking forward for. I've seen the sales guy went with a 150 presentation, and after 50th slide, the customer, which is a CEO or so of organization, said, I believe, please hold on here. Whatever you're telling me, I don't require that. And I believe then he came forward and said, this is what exactly I need. And so the whole thing completely, or probably he got 1 hour, and out of that 45 minutes he wasted in presenting the 50 slide, which is out of no use to the customer. So asking questions so that you understand, I believe, or any person for your participant can understand what he or she requires is something very, very powerful tool to really do that. So I'll pause here if anybody has any questions on this framework, or if you want to define any of these things from your understanding, I believe, because we are all experienced people, I would love to hear that. So anybody would like to go and unmute yourself and explain. From your experience, any of these things, how do you see, is it relevant? Even if you want to add an element to this, or you want to probably say this is something, the way it probably has been defined probably can be done differently. So probably Rupeji, you were saying about how did you find, Rupeji, in fact, if this model is right on innovation, what I was talking about, because you mentioned that. So if you want to share that, Rupeji.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead,
actually, sir. Innovation is something like the same thing doing in a different way. I mean, as far as because everybody cannot think out of box. So simple thinking. I mean, it's very difficult to be yourself real. I mean, nowadays. So, in my opinion, doing things in a different way is an innovation.
Very true. And do you want to give an example, Rupeji?
Example.
Any example.
Exactly.
It could be a product example, or a service example, or a process example, or a business model example, or a brand example. Any of the examples.
Yeah.
Shailesh ji, there is an example of innovation.
Yes, sir.
In Punjab, they use the smaller washing machine for preparing lassi.
Okay.
And it is used, though the product is primarily designed for washing clothes. But then it's what we call in Indian context jugaad. So it's a jugaad thing from a washing machine to preparing lassi.
Okay, that's very interesting. I believe because you quoted there, in fact, as an innovation from Punjab, and lassi is an example. I can give you another example from the same continent, from the same state. एक सराजी थे, उन्होंने एक restaurant खोलना था. So he was trying to open up a restaurant, and what he did, he purchased and opened up a restaurant in जो प्लेन होते हैं, जो हवा बिल्कुल कूड़ा हो गया था, जो मतलब कहते हैं रिफर्बिश हो गया, बिल्कुल कूड़ेदान में उसको कहते हैं ना, उसको हमारा जब ले जा बेच देते हैं जब आप काला, तो उस प्लेन को उन्होंने खरीद करके, एक जमीन उनकी थी कि वहां पर उस खेत में उन्होंने लगा दिया और उस प्लेन के अंदर रेस्टोरेंट बना दिया। अब खाना तो वही है, द सेम जो आप खाओगे, पाव भाजी, छोले भटूरे और पनीर पूड़ा, जो भी आप खाओगे, तो खाना तो वही है, उसमें बहुत ज्यादा वैरायटी नहीं है। बट द इनोवेशन ही ब्रॉट इन दैट वाज द एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ द पीपल हु कैन नॉट बोर्ड द प्लेन। जो हवाई जहाज में नहीं बैठ पा रहे हैं, उनको वो रेस्टोरेंट में, जो प्लेन में रेस्टोरेंट है, उसके अंदर वो सर्व कर रहे हैं, एंड दैट्स देयर राइट ऑन द ग्राउंड। और बड़े सस्ते में उन्होंने प्लेन खरीद लिया होगा, क्योंकि वो किसी के लिए यूज नहीं होगा, ना एयरपोर्ट अथॉरिटी के लिए, किसी के लिए। So I believe, thanks for sharing that. I believe that gave me this example of whatever the innovation, how it can be different.
Good example, Shailesh sir.
So thanks for sharing. Anybody else would like to comment on any of this framework, what you're seeing? Because the moment you interact, I believe your thinking starts. Because if you do not interact, if you, for example, just now people who have started interacting, you have started responding. Yes, Meena ji.
Sir, ask questions. As I'm into the insurance sector and we train, those are the salespersons. So we cannot train them in the room only. We need to be on the field and tell them how to ask the questions. Because this is very important for, as you say कि पता ही नहीं कि need क्या है customer की, तो what product actually you sell. So we actually work only on a need based selling. So we just analyze the first need. We cannot say कि नहीं ये मेरे पास product है, ये ऐसे ऐसे है, ये इसको ले लो. Right? You actually write कि this is the wrong selling, not only with insurance product, with any of the product I say. If you are going to buy any shirt, if you're going to buy any mobile, दुकान वाला first salesperson ask you, what is your budget and what type of feature you are asking.
Absolutely.
Accordingly, they pitch you the product and tell you the things. ये वाला mobile है, this company mobile is according to your budget and all. And if you see, they show you the budget you have more than that, so that they know that you have the power to buy that. So they just pinpoint on your pocket, and if you are just in a pocket to buy a mobile of 10,000, they take you to the 12 or 15 or till 15,000 of the budget of the mobile, and you come and back. Yes, मैंने ये mobile ले लिया. You buy that mobile and come back and feel happy. Yes, these add-on features over there, because once I get the need of the customer, what all I can add into in that need, then I can actually sell the right product to the customer. So asking questions is very much important at the time of very first point of the sale.
Very good example, Meena ji. In fact, I really like this segment which you are coming in from insurance. So again, I believe because you talked about the question, so I have a question for you. So the question for you is, Meena ji, is insurance mein what is actually being sold? What is the root of insurance? क्या बेचा जाता है?
Sir, I started as an agent only, तो मैं तो सिर्फ इतना ही बोलती थी कि हम पेपर पे सपनों का घर बना के बेचते हैं, because practically तो we cannot मतलब show you कि क्या आपको मिलेगा, but actually हम पेपर पे सपनों का महल बना के ही बेचते हैं, sir. So life insurance is like this only.
I know life insurance is like that, but I'm just coming to life insurance because you talked about life insurance. Life का उल्टा क्या होता है? Yes, ma'am. I believe
life
opposite of life.
Sir, if you allow, I may like to add.
Yes, go ahead, ma'am.
That fits in.
Yeah.
Hi, Divya this side.
Yes, ma'am.
So basically, like all the discussion we had around understanding customer needs. So, there's a term called probing. That is what is exactly every business in any industry, or for that matter, at a very petty shop, a idle person who is good with customer dealing or, repo building, which has a great results in their turnover, is because they have their set patterns of things that will end up customers' thought process to the products of range they will have. And we always ask an open-ended question, but it should be either a yes or somewhat yes. It should never be a no, because we have to pitch in, we have to close the deal. Hence the probing directs a customer towards whatever we have on the platter to offer However, we make it look or sound it like as if we are framing into customer's need, which is ideally true because that's how businesses or any product for that matter work. Either it is tangible or intangible. So, as in question, the life insurance that the discussion was happening about. So I believe there's the concept of security after you're not there in the world. How would you protect your family in terms of finances, in terms of unforeseen expenses, and maybe anything that you want them to have even after you're not there? So I think this whole concept of you not being there as a core, bread earning member of the family, how would it be without that is what we sell, and how you can actually keep the situation secured and pleasant even if life is not with us.
I believe, Divyaji, very beautifully you said, in fact, what I was asking from a life perspective. In insurance, I believe when you are not there, I believe, so practically whom you are selling that as a product or whatever I was talking to Minaji, you are selling him something which doesn't exist. So I believe he's not going to add. So I say in insurance, the best salespeople are insurance people because they are selling the person their death.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
And
Not only that, sir, we are
crucial
selling
thing
so
is
many
that we
things
never
along with
refer it to the
that.
person. We always address ourselves in the situation
Ourselves.
as we are into it.
We actually put our into the image. We don't say कि कल आपको कुछ हो जाएगा. We always say कि हमको कल कुछ हो जाएगा.
वो बोलेगा भाई अभी निकलो तुम निकल दो अभी.
So I believe the toughest selling from that, and you can't do that. But I believe having talked about this, because this is something, because this is all building up now. But one thing which Divyaji, I just wanted to comment on that, on probably ask you a question. Where do you think probing is being used, Divyaji?
Sir, I believe it is a process or a thing that we do at every stage of delivering any piece of information, or pitching any product, or for that matter
let me help you. In which role probing is most famous?
Customer service.
To some extent yes, but that's not the most prominent role where probing is used.
The doctors.
I
So
think
is
it
it
is also
managers?
used in managing people, and especially with the counselors, because we need to make people.
Again, I mean, that's what I'm saying. All of you are right, but the extreme, I'm saying, if I have to say 0 and 1, not the middle. Most of these are in the middle. Whatever the examples everybody is giving is in the middle. If I have to say the extreme place where the probing is being used, and that's
the mothers. I guess mothers probe their children so many times from the young age.
Mothers probe it to their daughters more. Yeah, boys. कि कहाँ गए थे, किधर गए थे, किधर गए थे, क्या करके आए, क्यों नहीं गए, अब ये पढ़ा क्यों नहीं, I mean, that is extreme. But again, they're all in the shades of gray. So let me give you a hint, or let me give you an answer for that matter, because we are somewhere in the middle of it. Probing, my dear friends, is used in investigations. जब आपका सामने सीबीआई वाला खड़ा होता है ना, सीबीआई वाला, अभी सब जितने बैठे थे सबके. So probing is used in the extreme in investigations. So keep that in mind, and that's I hope I'm trying to make my point, because if you use probing and asking questions as a salesperson or all these things, whatever we talked about, आपका questioning का method change हो जाएगा, and आपके जो need understanding है वो उतनी complete नहीं होगी. Because the moment you start probing, you are treated that you are investigating that matter. So keep that in mind, because today's topic is not on questioning, probably some other day, because this topic, I'm just giving you a hint of that, because probing is a very specific type of questioning, and it should be used in some very, very rare cases, not in all the cases. So keep that in mind, even as a method also, even as a doctor also. So because some of you said that, so I'm just trying to build that context, because today's topic is not on questioning, otherwise we'll go off the track. So this is just to let everybody know that I believe this framework. So thanks for sharing, I believe, for this, all these inputs, and I believe makes the session more interactive and makes feel good. At least whatever we are discussing is making sense. Okay, so let me move on. Post to this framework. Okay. Okay, I believe, just a second, give me a minute, because there is a dark, there's a light which has gone, so I'm not sure whether you can hear me out. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just give me a minute, probably just to set the things right, so that at least you can see me also. Just give me a minute. I'm back. Okay, so let me probably start something now, taking a deep dive into what this paper 3 is all about, training methodology and cognitive way of doing things. So what I have explained to you is a little bit of the cognitive way of doing things. Now let's talk about the training methodology. And what I want probably now some of you to respond back is which training methods you have been using, because all of you are actually in some way doing this in your profession or your job, I believe, or your business or the freelance. So which training methodology you have been using? I want some perspective, some views coming in from everybody, in fact, or some of you at least. So let's, I'll request whoever has not spoken also probably can speak. I believe it will give you a platform for all of us as audience also. We are 15 of us, so we are all there to hear you. Yes, Rupesh ji.
Sir, most of the time we use actually OT on-the-job trainings, and some theory part, definitely classroom training we organize.
Okay,
actually.
okay. So on-the-job classroom. Thank you. Anybody would like to go ahead and add to that?
Sir, we use classroom training as well as, sorry.
Yeah, Meena ji, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So we use classroom training, OGT and video method we also used. And some quiz type of now, because now in a virtual mode, videos and quiz in between we do, so that candidates get connected every time. They don't feel bored.
Wonderful.
Some activities also.
Okay, okay. Let's
thanks, sir. So generally, sir, nowadays we use our role play sessions. This is another way of imparting training among the people around. The second could be, sir, again, because we are into a digitization. So digital training is now commonly used everywhere. Third, if I say, when we talk about the middle level or the ground level staff to train them, we generally use the PPT modes. So this is what we are using currently, sir.
Okay. Yes, Jitenji.
Yeah, normally we do, it's now as a pandemic scenario, virtual training is going on. Either it can be a Zoom, either it can be a Google Meet, either it can be a Geo Meet. So virtual training program is also there. And the second, Rupesh sir said ki OJT program is there. So OJT program, we have a different criteria on the basis of performance, the person weakness point. Like might be possible he is a weak in a customer service, might be possible he will be weak in the customer interaction on the service or the delivery, either whatever it is. So on job training program it is there. And also we can also focus on the group based activity also. Somewhere of the group we have identified some of the weak persons and we have put in the group, and group based activity we have given as a task. We have given a task. So from today beginning, from day start to day end, you have to do this. At least you have to convert 5 productive calls, and we have to convert 1 new calls, which is not in your call day. So that is your call day. And out of 5 or out of 6 or out of 10, how many have out of them they have converted? So we'll bring them different from the group, and we will not do. We will go again, and they did individual based training program. What are the what are the differences you are facing off? What are the tackles you cannot cross? What are the problems you face down? Why you are nervous? This kind of individual based training program is also there. OJT program is there. And role play is a practical based option. Whenever at that out of 10 calls, suppose that being as a senior person, being as a training manager, I'm going with a market visit with the one of the ISR. I have told each and everything in the classroom, but I want to see how he's doing in the field. So out of 5 call, I will do key. Now you will start, and after 5 call, where the gaps will be there. In the 6th call, I will do, and I'll explain them. What are the gaps you have? Because every person is equal. अगर हम कहते हैं ना, एक हिंदी में कहावत है कि अगर हम किसी के सामने एक उंगली दिखाते हैं तो 4 उंगली हमारी तरफ है. क्या हमने उसको सिखाया है?
Okay. So, Jitenji, you have portrayed actual execution and delivery of that, which is very rightly said. But I'm again, not only for you, I'm saying everybody who has tried to attempt on the method. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of a because now you are getting into a little bit of a theory part of it. The classification of 3 things. I see there's a mix-up of all the 3 things. थोड़ा सा खिचड़ी बन गई है. Whatever you are trying to make, थोड़ी सी खिचड़ी बनी हुई है. I'm trying to segregate that. One is a classification of the method. So there are different classifications, and I see all of you have been saying it. That also you have given some classification rightly. I also see the method which you are using, and Jitenji was just now giving one example of and methods is something like a skill as a trainer which we need to have to really go ahead and do that job, and the way you have to do. And there are different methods, and you as trainers we have to have different skills to adopt those methods. And I see many of you have answered some of the methods also. And there's a third thing also which I heard. There are aids and tools. There are aids and tools like video, quizzes. These are all aids and tools. And I heard that also, you all mentioning that. So there are 3 different things, my dear friends. There are classification of doing different kinds of training. There are different methods and skills which are required by us to do training. And there are different aids and tools which are required by us in training. And there are 3 different things. We generally tend to mix all these 3 things. Tabhi khichdi ban jati hai. And if you are not clear about that, you will not be able to figure out what to use, when to use, and how to use it. And I'm going to repeat, if you are not clear about it, you will not be clear of when to use, what to use, and how to use. And that's something, it is very, very important when you're going through this course of program to understand all the 3 aspects. And while there are details of this, I'm quite sure all of you are aware of it. You will have online assignments and everything. I hope you are clear about this book. Let me just remove this stop sharing so you will be able to see that from my camera. Let me see if I can pin myself. Yes. So if you see this, this is the book, which I'm quite sure you may have heard about it from Vermaji. And
yes, we
this
received.
So if you have received it, there's a 6th chapter is what I'm referring to. 6th chapter.
Okay.
And in this book also, there's another book, 2nd book also is there. This also there's a 6th chapter. But इसमें अलग तरह के concepts समझाए गए हैं, and इस वाली किताब में अलग तरह के concepts समझाए गए हैं. So if you see that, it gives you a very detailed way of classifying that. And I'm here anyway to explain that. So I'm going to do all this thing, but I want you to go back and refer to this book of yours or the 6th chapter, and you'll be able to understand that very clearly. What I'm saying, the classification, the approaches, the second is approaches and method, and the skills required to do that. And the third is the aids, tools, which you talked about. So जब आपको एग्जाम लिखना पड़ेगा तो ध्यान रखिएगा कि आप कैसे लिख रहे हो, because otherwise आप सबकी खिचड़ी बना दोगे तो मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे. So keep that in mind. And while theory is there, I'm trying to explain to you the practical aspect of also of it. If you are clear about the mindset, skill set, and tool set, you'll be able to use the right mindset, or you will be able to use the right skill and the tools to create that mindset change which you're looking forward for. Like what Jitenji was giving example of a customer service, I believe if based upon the gap, you'll be able to use the right method and the right tools to bring that mindset change which you require. So that's the practical aspect of it. I'm just trying to give you how it is relevant for you. Okay, so let me come back and give you a little bit of what I'm talking about. So while you can go back and refer to that book, which is anyway there with you, but let me give you some training methods and classifications of that. So let me first give you classification. And I believe all of you, I believe most of these things are actually told by you. OJT, which is on the job training. Simulation methods. And I mean, I didn't hear that. Probably if you have said that, probably I didn't notice it. Simulation methods are again very, very important. Right now, there are many simulation tools and techniques which have started happening. And one of the classical way is, if you have heard about it, is gamification. And that's exactly important. Yes, Rupesh, you want to say something?
Yeah, in car driving, they use simulation method.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Even flight training in flight, pilots ko, pilots ki training ki simulation bhi hoti hai.
Yes.
So that's the second method, simulation. And the third one is knowledge-based methods. And knowledge-based methods is you actually use or bring in an expert, subject matter expert, or a role model, or a role play. No, not a role play. The person who is an expert or a mentor or a guide. For example, if you want somebody to really learn cricket, and cricket also from a batting perspective, you will bring in a person who is very knowledgeable. You can bring in anybody, a Virat Kohli or a Sachin Tendulkar, whomever you can afford to bring in to basically impart that knowledge. So there is an academy of cricketers which is very popular in the North India, and probably all over India for that matter, because they think, I believe that, but if you actually see, the person who himself is a subject matter expert may not be everywhere there. Similarly, dance academies are there which are knowledge-based methods. So they are trying to choreograph and teach you the dancing methods. Similarly, for musicians, singers, and so many different places or different professions. So I'm just giving you the concept of classification of different, the examples may not be directly applicable. You have to correlate with your own example. Fourth method is a skill-based methods. And skill, I believe there's a Skill India program. I'm just trying to give you a very, very grassroots level initiative, because I'm involved with that also in entrepreneurship workshop all over India with 21 states. I've touched by now more than 26,000 people, 4.5 lakh people in 21 different states. So the skill-based methods could be at a grassroots level. To give you a visualization is carpenter skills. अगर आपको लकड़ी काटनी है, ड्रिलिंग करनी है, कि उसको आपको रंदा मार करके स्मूथ करना है, you have to make it smooth, and I believe there is a door which has to be fitted, etc., etc. Those are skills which a carpenter should have. Electrician will have a different skill, and probably a lathe maker will have, machine maker will be having a different skill. So that's a classification, and the methodology for that would be different to really impart that skill. So skill-based methods are also there, and many, many skills are there all around the globe. So I believe that's another method. And another part is experiential method, is how do you bring in the experience, I believe, of different collective people to really do that. So let me ask if anybody has any additions or questions on these 5 classifications. So you can unmute yourself and you can share or ask, I believe, anything on these 5 classifications before we move on. Because I am setting the whole context for you to understand this training methodology, and that also from a cognitive perspective.
Alice, sir.
Yes, Arnaji.
Experiential method a little more, and its application in various objectives.
Okay, wonderful. So, for example, what do you think is this session, the way we are doing this, Arnaji, this session, what method are we using right now?
I find it interactive. So you are interacting with participants and you are taking my views, taking participants' views. So it's a two-way communication, and we are getting involved in the learning process.
Absolutely. So out of these 5 methods, which method are we using right now?
It cannot be on the job. It cannot be simulation, knowledge-based or skill-based. So carpentry ka to nahi ho raha. So it has to be. Experience.
So that's the point.
Right mix of knowledge based and experience.
Yeah, knowledge based bhi aayega thoda sa, I think.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. You're right. Bang on. So I believe the way we are connected right now in an ISTD method, because it is related to, I believe, a profession, and we are all into a fraternity of India. For example, I cannot be an individual person touching 135 crore people. I need an army of people like all of you to reach out to everywhere, wherever you are. I believe just now we were talking, I believe somebody may be here, traveling somewhere else, and then trying to touch people. Because this is a very, very big industry, and we need to unify. And ISTD is actually trying to do that. So that's thanks to that. From that perspective, there are a lot of people in ISTD and around which are knowledge-based. So we use knowledge-based method, and obviously I'm sharing some of my experiences there, which is make sure that is one of the experience. But experiential method is just not my experience. Then it will become knowledge-based only. Experiential is you should experience that, and you will be able to make it more learning-oriented. It is not teaching, it's not training. And that's what exactly I'm trying to basically make it a difference. Experiential is not training. Experiential is not teaching. It is more focused on learning, and I believe more experience sharing, where you are also sharing your experience and I'm also sharing experience. So it is not only you are learning from me, even I could learn from you.
Shailesh sir, one question.
Yeah.
These offsite trainings that often organizations arrange, is it part of the experience? Because therefore I had a confusion and a question that the kind of river rafting, rappelling, all that which is done, which is a team building program, offsite team building program. Will it be an experiential method? Because in a way you experience the environment, the process, and maybe you are going for a trekking, you are experiencing the interactions and the nature. So is it experience as an experience of knowledge, or is it experiential in the sense of senses, which is like moving around, doing kinesthetic things, smelling things, and have feelings around it?
Bang on. I mean, very good question. Very, very good observation and a very good question, Anandji. So those experiences which we are trying to give it to the people or the participant on a river rafting or the team bonding activities is definitely experiential. But it is not knowledge-based. It is not knowledge-based. The reason is, जो river rafting का जो boat चलाता है या जो आपको बचाता है, that guy is knowledgeable in that river. Yeah. He is knowledgeable, and you have not become the knowledge expert in that place. So it is not at all knowledge-based method. It is only experiential. You experienced it, and that's why it is experiential.
Thank you, Shailesh sir.
Okay, any very, very good question. Thanks, Sarnaji, for asking that, I believe. And I believe I'm going to differentiate as we go along. We'll keep building, but I believe if anybody has any other questions or probably additions you want to do on any of these classifications, feel free to go ahead and mute yourself.
Thank you, Shailesh sir.
Most welcome, sir. Okay, anybody else would like to add? You can add also, I believe. You can add to, this is what exactly is my understanding on the job or something like that. I believe that's also is fine. Okay, so while you are still thinking, let me reveal the list of methods. And these are focused toward the skills. So I mean, there's so many of this which we have been talking about it, and all of you were talking about it. So I'm not sharing something new, and it's there right there. In fact, there's enough of literature and the content around that in the book which is there with you, and even Google is there as a guru for you. So content is not a scarcity today. I believe as far as the understanding is concerned, that's more important. So if you see all this list, I'm quite sure you will be able to appreciate what I'm talking about, the methods or the skills which are required by us as trainers to adopt any of these methods. So just go through it. I'm giving you a minute to probably visualize and what you already talked about it. And if you find something interesting, go ahead and share it. And probably if you have some bit of a question around any of this thing, go ahead and ask it. Or if you want to probably have a confusion, I will go ahead and again ask it.
Shailesh sir, if you can explain the incident process method a bit.
Okay. I'll do that. Anybody has any other additions? Yes, Jitenji.
So in the book, there is an option experiential method, TL group. In the book.
TL group, what is this?
102, page number 102. It's the right bottom side.
Okay.
The classification of training methods, the experiential method, sensitivity, and TL group. Transaction analysis. Before transaction analysis is the TL group. Page number 102.
Yeah, I can find it out. In fact, it's an acronym probably somewhere.
In the experiential method, sensitivity. After that,
TL
TL group. What is TL group?
I believe I can guess that. I may not be 100% sure, but
because rest all of things I have understood, but TL group.
The way I am visualizing this is more on the leadership, transformational leadership group kind of stuff. Because the way it happens, again, it's my only a guess for that 2-letter acronym. Because what happens, the examples you are trying to develop, the leadership skills. So you are trying to create a situation or a scenario where you are trying to, within a group, you are giving him or her the leadership role. So agar aapne kai activities, I'm quite sure all of you must have done that. We make teams. Let's say aapne 2 team bana di, and you want one natural leader to emerge from that and one natural leader to emerge from the second team. And that leader becomes the kind of the chosen leader within that group or the team itself. And that's a normal evolution of that. That's one way of doing it. The other is already a popular leader is well known to them because participants are working together. If they are known to each other,
that will be called as a situational leadership. No?
Absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. It's more on the leadership. How do you really bring in a transformational or situational leader from that group is also experiential there. And the people are experiencing it and then trying to bring it out.
Okay. Hang on.
Okay, let me come to the question which was asked, an incident process fact finding. So if you can refer the book also, but I'm just trying to give you a definition or probably understanding of that. Incident, for example, let's take the example of insurance itself. I believe, or an accident. अब कोई accident होता है, किसी factory में accident हो गया मान लीजिए. अब the accident happens, and then you have to find out why did it happen. And we were talking about probing and all those kind of things. So you have to go back in the industry and a factory and then try to figure out what was the reason why the accident happened, what, etc. So I believe you probe and everything, you find out what was the fact. But how do you really bring the same method inside a training room? And that is the reason you create a complete process of incidents of the complete, it could be so many ways to do that. You create that process and the person actually goes ahead and do the fact finding. And that's a training which you are trying to do for the people who are going through that. And that's one way of incident-based fact finding mission or a training there. So this is just to give you an example of how it can be really created. It could be done through simulation again. You can do it in a software simulation and do that. Today, there are so many methods to do that. But the incident process, the way it got created is the way I'm trying to explain it to you.
So fact-finding sheet we do actually in life insurance we do.
Correct.
For if we go for a protection or a term plan, which we say is a term plan, where we only death is covered. So we check what is the asset and what is the liability of the customers, and whatever the gap it is, we give the term plan on that. That's the fact finding. The actual what is the asset of the customer, and if he dies, so what are the liabilities will be on the families. So they will not be in a financial burden in future. Main bread earner is not there. So we have a fact finding sheet where we asset and liabilities gap we check, and we give a term plan accordingly to the customer.
Wonderful. I do the same thing, Meenaji. If you have to do it in a training room, how will you do that?
So we have one fact finding sheet.
You'll use
asset
it
and liabilities.
You will make somebody as a customer. You will make somebody.
Where we somebody role play
Correct.
we do.
Correct. And then you have to fill up the fact sheet in front of that as an instant there. Instead of doing it live, you're doing it in a training room.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Shalish sir, one confirmation.
Yeah, Naji.
Like in a lot of safety training, Bhopal gas tragedy case study is used.
Correct.
And then it's series of what went wrong, what happened and all that.
Correct.
So will that case study method be also called as incident process? Because in a way you are
maybe or may not be. The reason I'm saying is because if it's just a case study, then it's the other case study scenario is there.
okay.
But there's a difference. The way I believe me and Meena ji were talking, I believe the example what we were discussing is actually a very relevant example from an incident process and fact finding. Because agar aapko fact finding koi factory ki sheet, it's like a checklist of facts which you have to create.
Okay.
Case study may not be actually a fact finding there. You are only trying to build up a scenario and then learn from that. That's all.
Got it.
Management MBA, you take so many case studies and you learn from the scenario. But incident process fact finding is you are trying to go deep dive. यार CBI का काम कर रहा है actually practically.
In a way हमें पहले से पता नहीं है हुआ क्या है वो fact finding.
You have to find out exactly. So this is investigation, probing, CBI, everything.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
But generally we do, sir, in like accident reports.
Correct.
I mean, in manufacturing industries, we relate accident reports. What was the reason and kahan kya hua, and
absolutely.
We relate and then we
absolutely. It is like a FIR.
Yes, sir.
So yes, you are right, Rupesh ji.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other point anybody would like to ask? Whatever is listed in this list of methods.
So gamification, which in my understanding, gamification, because currently this gamification added in our company also. Some new joinees is going through when the induction, they have given some quizzes and all. So on that, and some key parameters they need to complete within their induction program. So
correct.
We get that score on that. Whatever the quiz he and she attempted, what is the percentage of that score, and whatever the parameters they need to complete within that parameter, who all have achieved. So we are just from this last 2 months we are getting this gamification report. So is this so that but whatever the progress is going of the employee is a gamification report or what? Or is
again,
it something else?
Very relevant and very right, appropriate question, Meena ji, in fact. Okay, before I answer, does anybody want to attempt to answer what Meena ji has asked? Would anybody like to attempt to answer what Meena ji is asking? It's a very valid and a very relevant question which she has asked on gamification. Koi koshish karna chahega for whatever Meena ji is asking? I'm giving a chance for anybody to attempt to what Meena ji just asked. Again, there's nothing right and wrong. I'll help anybody and everybody. What she's asking is gamification. जो मेरे पास स्कोर आता है अलग अलग लोगों का क्विजेज और जो लोग कर रहे हैं असेसमेंट कर रहे हैं उनका स्कोर आ रहा है and मेरे पास स्कोर आता है तो is that what gamification is all? So I believe I'm just trying to make sure that is that what anybody would like to help her out? Go ahead and try.
Sir, I'm not sure how relevant this would be, but like we also have sometimes we have these team connects and we have quizzes over there. So basically those quizzes are conducted so that they test that how much do we know about the company or the technology that we are working on. And sometimes when we are in our trainings also, so they ask these games, they make us play these games in which while playing the game only the trainer asks us this question, okay, so now do you understand the situation, or this is how it works when you are in that current situation. Like I'm not answering that specifically, but I guess that this is how it works in gamification, that you try to organize and set up a set of questions and games in which while playing it, or the end result is to give an explanation that okay, this is what we were trying to explain you, or this is how it is done.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to add something here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Anant here. I think gamification actually is connected with instant gratification. And instant gratification is very well and very cleverly used on social media platforms, where you get instant gratification in the forms of notifications, in the forms of likes, comments. So anything which is making the end user more and more interested to do that thing is giving that person an instant gratification. And that's the end result of gamifying anything.
Wonderful, wonderful. I believe, Anand, bang on. I believe you nailed it. So I believe, Minaji, I believe what Anand said is, you are making the person more and more curious. I believe जैसे ही आप उसके अंदर वो curiosity जगा रहे हो, वो likes, इतने like आ गए, मैंने कुछ किया, मैंने इतने लोगों ने पसंद कर लिया. So the social media example which he gave, the same concept when you are trying to do in the gamification world. So the participant has to be involved. The example which you gave, both the people gave, in fact, is there's some assessment, some quizzes, some answers, something coming to you. That is only the assessment and the measurement of the performance of the participant. That is not gamification. That is not gamification. Gamification is where the participant is getting involved into whatever activity which you are doing, and he or she is actually enjoying that and really getting involved. And if I say from a cognitive perspective, you are making the person go to the level of subconsciousness and then making him or her learn in gamification. So that's what from the training industry it comes in.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So one last question if somebody has, otherwise I'll try to give an assignment now. Now is the time to give a small assignment, because I understand within the next week you will have starting online assignments also coming up. But this to just to practice for you, I am going to coin this small assignment for you, which you can go ahead and practice it. And next week, next Sunday when we meet, we can again pick it up. So friends, what I'm going to do is, this is a small assignment. You can, if you want, you can note it down, and probably you can take a snapshot of the screen and then go ahead and attempt that. Because I believe we have discussed enough about it now. So each of you come from a different industry. So we have insurance, we have baby products. I believe there's so many. We are coming from NTPC, I believe, or could be any of the industry where you're coming from. Pick up your industry, your organization, and the target participants whom you are trying to basically give impart or train. So किनको आप करना चाहते हो या करते आनो करना चाहते हो, whatever it could be. So identify that. What is the duration of training which you want to give, and how much you want to give it, and what form and which method you want to give it, is you have to figure out. And keep the word of blended learning in mind, and try to figure out from Google what blended learning means. Blended learning ka maane kya hai? And next Sunday we'll discuss that. So blended learning, बहुत ही important concept, and specifically in the times where we are all locked in, I believe, and doing virtual methods, blended learning is a very, very powerful thing. This is happening. ये मैं बहुत पहले से बता रहा हूँ, from last 10 to 12 years, but now it has become a reality, in fact, for anybody and everybody, or any industry for that matter. So your organization, target participant, duration of the training, and किस method में कितना duration, learning hours क्या होंगे, what are the learning hours for your participants वगैरह वगैरह, उसका क्या outcome होगा, क्या result होगा, we were just talking about it. And measurement, again some examples we talked about measurement, कि उसका measurement, quiz, assessment वगैरह measurement आ रहा है, आपके पास result आ रहा है, measurement, उसका outcome अलग है, measurement अलग है. There are different things. And what are the takeaways you want as an organization? अपने organization में, if you are doing this program or a training intervention, what takeaways do you want? So you have to create and design, I'm using the word design, a blended learning program of whatever you are doing in your organization. It could be just one slide, or it could be 2 slides, not more than that. Or if you want to make it a Word document, I am fine with that. So my request to all of you is, go ahead and attempt that. And I believe it will help all of us to basically build the next session when we do next Sunday. So any questions on this assignment anybody has?
Sir, I want to ask something. Sorry, I just wanted to ask you, sir, do we need to create like a rough draft, a blueprint, that if we would have a training, then we would have created or organized it in so and so way.
Absolutely, Sonakshi. Absolutely
Okay.
right.
Okay, sir.
The idea is for you to learn whatever we are trying to do, try to learn from that. And once you do that yourself, it becomes knowledge and experience of your coming in together.
Okay, sir.
So it will not be only theory, it will become more practical.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
If everybody is clear, just type a yes in the chat box on the assignment. If you are clear on the assignment, just type a yes in the chat box. If you, at least I'll know that you are clear. So next week, next Sunday when we meet, absolutely we can discuss something. So thank you. Yes, if you are clear on the assignment, absolutely good. And I believe we can pick it up. Just 1 or 2 slides or document, any shape is fine. Yeah, as far as you can show it right now. I believe in this place, I can give you a sharing thing. You can share it and then and make sure that you should be able to do that in 1 or 2 minutes while presenting it, not more than that. Because otherwise we lose the track. So just be ready with that. And it will not take much time because you are already doing it in some shape, some size. Okay, good. So this is going to be the assignment, and I believe we'll talk more on that. So that's absolutely fine. Let me try to, okay, where is this gone? Okay. Oh, no. Okay. So for today, I believe, as I always do, last time also people who did that, I am going to share a link to you right now. And I'm sharing a link, which is what you have to quickly fill this in the last, this thing. So there's a link which I put it in the chat box. Just click that link and you have to capture 3 things. What is that? Are the learnings for today for you? आज के session से आपने क्या सीखा? You have to fill that in the chat box because last week, last month actually, October when we met, I believe you had shared, and I believe those were the good inputs for me to take up and pick up, I believe, where you are coming in from, and I structure the next session accordingly. So, kya sikha? What have you learned today? And you have to put it in 3 heads. What is that one habit or one behavior which you are going to apply from a training methodology perspective to start something new? एक ऐसी behavior, एक ऐसी आदत जो we are going to start something. So you will start something doing which you have not done it earlier. So something which you have learned today, you will start applying that. Start. The second thing is stop. Stop doing it. It is not helping you. Whatever you are learning, it is not helping you in your career, in your profession. Stop doing that. And one, continue. A strength of your, which you are already doing it from whatever you have learned. Continue doing that. And that's what is something very, very important for you to learn from today. So mention that in the link which I have shared it with you in the chat box. 1 start, 1 stop, and 1 continue behavior or a habit which you want to take up from today's session, whatever we have done in the last, whatever, 1 hour, 1.5 hours now. Exactly 90 minutes we are going to be completing. So in 90 minutes, whatever you have learned, 1 start, 1 stop, 1 continue. Just fill that link and complete that. And I believe it will be good input for you as well as and take to, as a takeaway from today's session. It will take just a minute or 2, not more than that. It will just take a minute or 2. Start, stop, continue. The link is there. If you have a QR code from your mobile, if you want to do that, there's a QR code also available to you. There also is a form shared by Vermaji on the feedback form, but I believe there is one more. Vermaji, are there? I believe there's one more class. I believe after my class, there is one paper 4 also.
Yeah, paper 4 is also there, but still you can explain about the feedback form.
Okay, okay.
To the
So
people.
I'll do that. I'll do that. So
Thank you.
friends, I believe while what I'm doing is you're learning. The form which I shared with you is the learning for today's this session, cognitive thing, what we talked about training method. But for the today's overall class, because we have 4 papers, first, second, third, and fourth. So for today's complete class of 4 papers, by end of the 4th session, you can click the link which is shared by Varmaji, and all the 4 session feedback you can give it in that link itself. This you can also do it after the 4th session. It not only right now, you can do it after the 4th session also, because it asks for the feedback of all the 4 sessions. So friends, I believe the time is up. In fact, I believe now my time of Verma ji ne mujhe kaha tha 3:30 pe finish kar diya, so that we give a half an hour gap for you to for the next session, which is going to start at 4 o'clock, from 4 to 5:30 for your paper 4. So make sure that you are there on time. If people have not joined, please ask them to join, and make the best use of this opportunity which we are getting it. So look forward, I believe, for meeting you next Sunday. So if anybody has anything, you can unmute yourself, share, and I will be very happy to ask, or you can share. In fact, if there is something which you want to do that. But in addition to that, can I request all of you to switch on your camera? We'll take a group photograph because Verma ji is also here. I believe we can take a group photograph for next week. If everybody is there, I believe I'll love to have that. If everybody can switch on the camera, it will be a moment of truth for all of us. And I believe this is an opportunity. This is how the groups are going to be working now. And I'll share that, I believe, in the next week also, and probably in the group also. So if you can
Sir,
yes, sir,
work from home, the visuals may not be very appealing, but I'm still switching on.
Absolutely fine. I can give you a story around that. I am a part of a global coaching community. We are around 1,500 coaches all around the globe. And you can understand that 1,500 people, the 20 of us combined together, different people come at different times. So we figured it out, the 20 people, ek camera banta. And this camera was switched on, everybody was there, and there are ladies and gents, everybody is there. So the same thing happened, in fact, and one camera was not on. So we requested if everybody can switch on the camera, and he said, just give me a minute. And he switched on the camera after a minute, and he said, it is 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm there in the session with you at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I was just wearing my shirt here. So how does it matter? I believe these are all virtual world. You are safe in your world.
Sir, you have example for every thought. You are a great trainer.
So I'm a person of stories. I'm a person of stories. So
I can sense and I can see that in demonstration.
So I believe I can keep telling you stories on anything in this world, what can happen. So I believe looking forward for everybody. So before I take a click, last click, okay. So I'm going to give you one message, I believe, which I've been doing it personally. I've been doing it. If you are there, if you can see me, my request to all of you as trainers is, please keep spreading smiles. Please keep spreading smile. इसमें कोई कोरोना नहीं है, safe distance कर रहे हो, स्माइल बिखेरते रहो यार, अपनी जिंदगी में रखा क्या, otherwise what's there, आज है कल नहीं है. So keep spreading smiles, make people de-stress, in fact, and smile is only what is visible to you. अब आप कमीज पहन के स्माइल करो, बिना कमीज कर करो, स्माइल तो स्माइल ही रहेगी. So keep spreading smile, and that will change the world, and that will transform the world. So on a count of 3, I'll click a photograph, and that's how I'll do that. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we are there. So thank you. So we'll look forward next, anyway, 4 o'clock, you're going to be there for the next class. And next week when we meet, we'll meet at 2 o'clock. So yes, that's what, Verma, 2 o'clock next week, next Sunday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And we have to log out right now from this meeting, I understand.
No, you can transfer the host to me.
Okay, just a second.
Thanks, sir. Wonderful session.
Thank you, sir.
All the best. All the best.
Thank you very much. Please come at 4 o'clock.
Okay, sir. I've done
Right.
that, sir.
Try to come before 5 minutes before 4.
Sure.
Thank you, Shailesh sir. Great session.
Thank you, Anaji. Thank you.
Thank you, Shailesh sir.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you, sir.
Jadenji. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was
Thank you,
a great
Aditya.
session,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you, Arnab.
Thank you, Salesji. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Varmaji. Thank you. Bye.